And it was like the teacher helped us put it on iTunes, and it was like the coolest thing ever. We got our stuff on iTunes. Like we sold 2 copies of our EP. Oh my gosh. And that's been taken down, long taken down from the internet at this point. But
this is about you, your journey in music, and we'll talk about the new record coming out in about 10 days or so.
yes, sir. 10 days.
Awesome. Looks like you have quite the music history within at least yourself. But tell me about where you were born and raised, and I want to get into how you got into music.
Totally. I'm from Los Angeles, born and raised,
Oh,
southern
wow.
part of Los Angeles. One of the only people from LA that's decided to stay in the music industry, I think.
And one of the very rare people that are born and raised in the state in LA, right?
Definitely. I feel like you get a lot of transplants in the music industry, but very rarely do you hear about somebody from LA. So yeah, I was kind of always in it. I mean, something I wanted to be in music since I was really, really young. I grew up in a musical family. My dad plays guitar and bass, and used to produce some like film and TV music. So I was kind of in and out of studios growing up, meeting random people, playing in bands, the whole thing. And then in high school, I started self-producing my band. I really wanted to be on Warped Tour. I wanted to go around playing pop punk music,
That's a dream in high school.
It was, man. It was a good time. We would be touring on our winter breaks and stuff, self-booking tours, getting out, playing to nobody, all that good stuff. And
cool.
And yeah, that once I started college, started music production and business, and kind of just started doing my own thing. Decided that I was kind of carrying a lot of the weight of the band, so I might as well just be a solo artist. And that was a few years ago now. Kind of took like a couple iterations of my project to get to where I wanted to be for releasing EPs and all that good stuff. But yeah, settled into doing pop songs. Once I started college, fell in love with like the craft of songwriting and producing, and kind of just like melding a lot of different genres and worlds together now is my favorite thing to do.
Amazing. I want to back up a little bit here. So you said your dad was a musician. He did what, scoring for television or something, or
more like advertising, like infomercials. He would do the music for those,
like jingles, or just like the back.
Yeah, in a way, like
dope.
a lot of background music for like someone's trying to sell you like a yoga package, and he's doing the music for the background, and things like that. A lot of random gigs. But he worked in advertising, but he also loved music. So he's like, why don't I make the music for the advertising?
That's brilliant. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to capture. It's similar to, I guess, film and TV, where you have to capture the feeling of the scene, or I mean, you got to make a feeling for, if you want to buy, like you said, if you're buying a yoga mat, or if you're going on a Caribbean cruise, or I mean, there's different styles you'd have to be able
100%. Yeah, he was doing a lot of different genres, a lot of different things back then, for sure.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Did that draw you to music? I mean, you said that you were in and out of studios as a kid.
Definitely. I mean, I was meeting a lot of people, just like random collaborators that he had on some of that stuff. When I was like starting high school, one of his really close friends who became a mentor of mine as a producer, Pat Reagan, and he was helping me produce my band when I was younger, and really like taught me so much about production and songwriting. And so just kind of like a lot of examples like that, meeting people along the way that really, along with my dad, really inspired me to want to be on the creative side of music. I don't know if that was like being an artist particularly yet, or if I just wanted to produce or write. I just love doing it. But even before the studio stuff, I mean, we just had guitars around the house. My dad was playing stuff all the time, and I was like trying to learn guitar with my small hands, and all that stuff. So
that's
it's just
cool
kind of always around. Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
there's like, you'll hear parents that had, sometimes kids don't want to do what their parents did, right? It's like, oh, well, if you're doing that, must not be cool, or like they don't want anything to do with it. That's rad that you're able to kind of follow suit with what he liked, and you're also interested in it as well.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, to this day, we're super bonded on it. I'll send him. I'll be like, "What do you think of this mix, man? Check this out."
Rad.
Texting things back and forth and sharing songs or whatever. He's he's all about it. So we have a great time, just like, you know, collaborating on it. It's a bonding thing for us for sure.
Yeah. Does he help? Like, has he recorded on any of your records or anything like that, or just kind
He
of
hasn't
listens
recorded
ahead
on
of
any.
time?
Yeah, he listens ahead of time, gives me his notes. Sometimes I'm open to them, sometimes I'm not, you know, depends on
Sure.
the song, I guess. Um, and there was a point a few years back where he was doing some mastering on my stuff. We just like to, you know, stay creative together, so we have a good time.
That's really
Um,
cool.
yeah, and I also had a grandfather who was a concert pianist who on my mom's side, who also, you know, growing up in a musical family, just very you know, very inspiring to hear the tapes of him playing in the 80s that we have. We just have like amazing recordings of him. So it's kind of just been everywhere since I
Yeah, on
was
both
young.
sides, right? Both
Yeah,
both sides of your family. That's awesome.
totally.
What was the first instrument you learned? Was it guitar when you were trying to noodle around
Uh,
as a kid?
so I got a guitar and my hands were too small. I hated it. And so I decided on drums, which I'm sure my parents loved. And I just liked hitting things, I think.
Right.
And so I did that for a long time.
How
My
old were
first
you?
couple, I was 3 or 4 when I got my first drum kit. So
Okay. My son's
I,
5 and we got him one over COVID. Like when it
nice.
started, but we got him the electric kit so we didn't drive the
Uh,
neighborhood insane.
that was my question. Was it electric or regular?
It's
But
electric.
you still can hear those pads though, you know?
Yeah, well, you can hear the pads. It's not nearly as bad. A
No,
buddy of
definitely
mine's
not.
a drummer he drums for a bunch of bands, and I was like, what do I get him? And he sent me one that has like an actual kick instead of like a
Nice.
trigger kick. So he's like, you
Right.
want this? So he learns, but like we just moved to Nashville from San Diego. I'm born and raised in California as well.
Oh, nice.
But when we got here, it's a little bit more open and we were able to get somebody that was willing to teach a 5-year-old how to play drums. So he just kind of
Right.
started, which has been cool. But that's
That's
awesome. I
awesome.
mean, 3, 4 years old. I wanted him to learn there because that's kind of the instrument everyone needs, right? I mean, if you're a drummer, you can play with
I, I
the pick of the
totally
litter.
agree. Like, I think I would have loved to start on guitar, like realistically, or actually maybe even piano. But I'm glad I started on drums, not just because, I mean, I did it for so long, like playing in bands and just like learning the ways of the industry before I started, like, or before I really felt comfortable singing in front of people, you know, when I
Mhm.
was like 15, 16, I started fronting the band and singing and all that. I drummed in bands for a long time. And but what I find now in like all my songwriting, like in my sessions and just like meeting other collaborators, to me, the best producer is always the one who started as a drummer. I don't know why that
Really?
is, but the rhythm is so important. And I'm always like, man, you're such a great producer. Let me ask you this. Did you start on drums? And they're like, yeah, dude, I did every time, every time.
Wow, that's rad.
So
That's rad to know. I
yeah,
want to throw him in piano too, but I haven't found anyone willing to teach a 5-year-old piano.
that sounds a little tedious. That's
But
so funny.
that's awesome. That's cool to know because yeah, like I said, I put him there because he was smashing stuff. I'm like, I need to get him out of like some energy out of this kid,
Yeah.
and I'll throw him that way. But okay, so you learned drums and you stuck with that for a while, or were you learning guitar and other instruments kind of in
Slowly
suit?
picking up, yeah, slowly picking up guitar and bass along the way. Like middle school, high school, really started to get into guitar. And then by the time I was in high school, I was just playing in my band and I was playing guitar and singing and had kind of put drums on the back burner, and
Mhm.
they've been there ever since. But yeah, and then just started picking up piano as well in like high school, college, which is still, I wish I would have started on it because I look at the piano, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me, even though I
Right,
know how to play it, but it's
right,
still like the guitar, I don't even have to think about it, you know.
right.
So I still have
Exactly.
to think about piano and I don't like that, so yeah.
Wow. Well, with the first band that you're in, or this band that you said tour on winter break or whatever it was that your first band that you were in?
I was in a couple, like I did a like summer camp where I did some like covers and played some of my first shows when I was
Oh,
in middle
cool.
school, and
Like
like
a
little
rock
talent.
band type camp?
Yeah, like talent, exactly, like talent show things at school, like, you know, just random things that popped up. I was playing a lot of covers. And then in middle school, I like wrote 5 or 6 songs and put out an EP for my like my 8th grade project. It was like a thing you had to do
Wow.
for school. And it was like the teacher helped us put it on iTunes, and it was like the coolest thing ever. We got our stuff on iTunes. Like we sold 2 copies of our EP. Oh my gosh. And that's been taken down, long taken down from the internet at this point. But
at least you have that. That's so
yeah,
cool.
we have it. Yeah, so that was where I started, and then like I said, in high school, that's when I really started in like getting into writing, producing, doing the rock band thing, and singing it all. And that's what we kind of started touring that stuff, and that was a lot of fun. It was like my best friends in high school, just jumping in a van and having a great time.
With that EP you put out in 8th grade, was that all you, or that was in a band setting and you?
That was in a band. I actually didn't even sing those songs. I wasn't comfortable singing in front of people yet, so I wrote them, and then I had a singer sing them.
And were you the drummer?
I was the drummer. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay,
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna write all the songs. Or you like, I have all this material, but you guys do what
what
I wrote, and I'm gonna play drums. That's awesome.
Yeah, there was one song that they got me to sing, and then I remember doing it live for the first time, and I was like, I'm never singing in front of anybody ever again. That was horrible. And then like 2 years later, I was like, all right, it's time to start singing,
Okay. What changed? Like what made you, or like how'd you build confidence enough to be like, you know what, I'm gonna just go for it, whatever?
I think I just kept writing, and I was like, all right, I really love these songs. I think it's probably, like, I'm 16 now, like it's probably time that I face this fear. And also, just playing with my friends and like them encouraging me to be like, well, why do you want to look for a singer? Like, you should just sing them. And I think in the bands I was in, I was getting a little tired of my lead singers too. I'm like, wait, I'm writing the songs and you're doing what? Like, you're the singer? Like, no, I think it's time for me to be the singer,
Yeah. Wow. Okay. What was the band that you started doing that with? Like, how long were you guys around for? I mean, to do touring and stuff, you must have somewhat of a established,
you'd be surprised. I wouldn't call it established.
It's a tour in itself. I mean,
yes.
that's some. I mean, you're actually looking for like, okay, this is going to be something I want to strive for. This is more than a hobby now, right?
I took it very seriously. It was my number one priority in high school, and we're probably around for like 4 years. Put out an album, almost 2 albums worth of music. Would just like self-book little tours up and down, California coast, or go to Arizona, or just, random little dates that we could figure out getting to. And it was so much fun. And then, it just kind of fizzled out at the end of high school. Like, people went to college, and I was like the only one who said, no, I want to keep doing music. So I'm going to go study that. And,
you went to Berklee, right?
I did.
Okay. Tell me about getting into that school and that process, because I've talked to many people that went there, and everyone's got a little different story as far as like how they got in and how that all happened.
Totally. It actually wasn't something that I was heavily considering. I had taken a couple production classes from Berklee online during high school, because I really just wanted to learn about like mixing and things that I felt like I didn't have a full grasp on when I was trying to produce my band. So my parents helped me like just enroll in some non-credited courses at Berklee, and I really enjoyed it, like my junior year of high school. And then when it came time to apply to colleges, I had horrible grades. Like, it was, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I really wanted to go to a school that wasn't going to judge me too harshly on my math grades, and just kind of let me in. Like, I'm sending them like 2 full albums worth of music that I produced, but I'm still getting denied from some schools because of my grades. It's like, okay, is that where I want to be? I don't know, So I applied to a lot of different schools. I really wanted to go to USC, and that was like my goal growing up. I went to a high school where like 20% of the kids went to USC. It's like ridiculous. So
they got a pretty decent songwriting. I mean, they have a good songwriting program there, don't they?
They do. Their pop music program is really cool. I wanted to be close to home. That was like kind of the goal. But I didn't get in there. I didn't get into a lot of the schools that I applied to specifically for music. And I had kind of just thrown the application into Berklee, like, don't know if it's it would be, I don't know if I'm even going to get in, but sure, like, let's definitely just, let's see what happens. And they were one of the first schools to accept me. And then I kind of like looked back at the courses I had taken, and I was like, well, 4 years of that sounds awesome. So let's do that. and
Wow.
I loved it. It changed everything, honestly.
Once, oh, did you do an audition process, or did they just kind of listen to your records and were like,
They
oh,
just
this?
Yeah, they just let me in based on I think they liked that I had taken some classes beforehand, but
Mhm.
they also, I think they just judged me based off of what I had been working on and the work I had already done, and that was what I was looking for. It was really, really cool to be accepted there. I was,
Yeah,
my mom was
definitely.
crying that day.
Oh wow, huge.
Yeah,
That was,
yeah.
so you must have remember getting like what, a letter in the mail, you had to open it up and figure out if you got
It
in.
was an email, and I
Oh, an
got it at
email.
school, and I was like, guys, like when I get home, we're opening the email,
So it was a big
Yeah,
thing. You guys all got
it
around the
was.
computer and did it. That's cool.
Absolutely. It's like the videos you see online where the whole family's like huddled around, like
I love
waiting to see
that.
what happens. Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Like I said, I've heard there's different stories where it's like, okay, you're gonna play this song and then you have to sight read and then do this, or there's somebody that like, yeah, I just apply and they got in, but like, or I had
Yeah,
to submit music and I got in that way. So it's interesting the different angles that people can take to go to that school. Because
totally. I'm thankful I did it my way, because I mean I never really had any intention of going to college to like study a specific instrument. Like I had already kind of learned enough guitar, learned enough whatever. So I wanted to go to produce and learn about the business and meet people. So
yeah.
a kind of a combo of that. But the specialty or like the degree program that I was in didn't really care as much about like your how well you played an instrument, and more just about what are you doing and what do you want to do.
That's
It's
cool.
really cool. Yeah.
You said that changed everything for you when you went there. What do you mean by that?
I got there and it was um, musical culture shock. I was like rock band, like so dead focused on like being in a pop punk band and like just like shielded. Like I was just looking at that,
Mm-hmm.
and I got there, and one of the first classes I took was an ear training class, critical listening class, and they were like, well, "You're going to listen to like 72 albums this semester." And
Oh, wow.
they're what we consider to be the best albums ever made. Like U2, Joshua Tree, all the Beatles records, like things like
Mhm.
that. And but all different genres. They're throwing country albums in there. They're throwing rap, hip hop stuff in there, like just a little bit of everything. And that was when it just kind of changed everything from a genre perspective. It was like quality music is quality music. Like I never even thought about other music until now,
Mhm.
and that's everything flipped. And I even kind of just stopped really listening to rock, pop punk stuff, and was just into like I was listening to Taylor Swift 1989. I'm in full pop mode by the time I'm in
I
my
love
first
her. She's
year.
like one of my favorite artists
It's
ever.
the best. I mean, I think 1989 is like the best pop album ever made. That was like,
Uh-huh.
whoa, this is amazing. Things like that. Or I love John Mayer growing up. He's like my second concert I ever saw when I was in like I don't even know, third grade or something. So um
Oh,
but when
another
I got
Berklee
there,
alumni. That's awesome.
yeah, exactly. But when I got there is when I really like everything changed, and I was like, wow, what if I was a solo artist? What if I was like not doing rock? What if I was doing like pop musical R&B, like all these other things that I love now, and it really
Mhm.
just really opened my mind up to a lot of different genres.
That's awesome. And when you were
Yeah.
there, did you produce for people like they were going to the school, or did you continue working in like a band setting there, or was it mainly just
No,
studying?
yeah, a lot of studying. I was working full time as well, just to kind of get through school and keep things moving along. But I was producing for others and slowly developing what became my artist project. Though that didn't really, I didn't really come out with that until towards the end of my time there. But did a lot of traveling. I switched. I ended up doing a lot of classes online. I was music directing some artists and producing people and just bouncing around, trying to play shows and have a good time and meet people. And
Hmm.
it was a really fun couple of years.
Hmm. Wow. On the on like the working full time thing, like how did you juggle working 40 hours a week and then going to class and trying to learn all this other stuff? And were they maybe I'm thinking of a different school, but they is at Berkeley, did they kind of tell you not to work when you were going there, or is that not really a thing that they bring up?
Um, I mean, I think it just made a scheduling a little bit more difficult on everybody.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't told not to work, but
Okay.
I think it was kind of implied, like you're in a full-time, college degree, like probably don't work a full-time job in addition to that,
Right.
because that's crazy time commitment. But
Sure.
um, but what it ended up being is that the company I was working for was flexible enough to let me, kind of bounce in and out when I had classes or needed to do homework. But like I was doing my homework on my breaks. I'm sitting in the break
Mhm.
room, like doing my whatever acoustics
Wow.
calculations or whatever I need to be doing.
Sure.
So, but yeah, it was a wild 3 years. I don't know how I really don't know how I kept up with that time commitment. It was just like keeping my head down and not looking up for 3 years, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So when you finish, what happens next? Like, where do you go from there? And like, was there like what was it aside from having the artist project? Was that kind of the end game when you left school?
Artist project was always the main priority, to be an artist, and then just picking up production and songwriting sessions and opportunities along the way when they opened up. The
Mhm.
artist project has opened a lot of doors for me working for other artists and meeting other artists, and that's always been something that I've tried to be involved in as much as possible, though it's only so much time I could commit to things beyond my artist project. But that was the main goal coming out of school, was focus on being an artist, focus on rolling out the first round of songs that I had made for this project. And I'm back in LA full time at that point, not doing a lot of traveling. Kind of had put a pause on a lot of like the touring gigs or any kind of live opportunities I had going at that point, and was really focused on my project. And then I moved out of my hometown up to a valley in Los Angeles, in Studio City, where I live now. And so that changed everything too. I was really like just put in the middle of the industry, could meet as many people as I wanted to, could work 7 days a week doing sessions if I wanted to. And that was the first time I had that kind of experience and ability to do that. So
Mhm. I
yeah.
saw that, or I've read that you've worked with, I mean, huge names, Andy Grammer and Ryan Tedder and Jake Miller, different artists like that. Like, how did you have those? Like, how did those relationships form, and how did you get those opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, it's just depends on the situation. It's always through connections. Random things just pop up. I worked with a friend of mine, James Maslow, for years on the road and in the studio, and he just came through a mutual friend. And Jake Miller is a close friend now, but I met him originally, like we have the same manager, and
Hmm.
I had just met the manager, and then he set me up with Jake, and now we've done a ton of work together. Um, or I met some people through. I had some songs on the show Songland that I produced and wrote, and got to
Oh,
meet some incredible writers and producers doing that. So it's really just being in the middle of it out here, and taking. I mean, there was a period of time, probably a 2 year period after I got out of school, leading up to the pandemic, where I was working. I was in 5-7 sessions a week, nonstop.
whoa. Okay.
So you meet a ton of people doing that. I don't
Yeah.
really love, I'm not really like the let me go and network at this industry party, though I will, but I would rather meet all my collaborators and my industry folks like in a creative capacity. Like that's how I met people along the way. Like, oh, you want to write? Yeah, let's write. I would love to work with you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
When I'm just curious on the Songland thing, were you on the show as at like pitching a song, or you just had song like
No,
how did
I
that work?
had I had two songs randomly that I had done for at the time what I thought were other artists.
Hmm.
I produced a song for a friend at a camp for a friend, David Davis, and then my other friend Dan Burke, who I work with a ton, and they both separately were like, "Hey, I sent the song into Songland and they love it and they want to put me on whatever episode. Is that okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I now have two songs on the show. That's perfect. I love that." So
Cool. Actually,
yeah,
I've interviewed David Davis before. That's funny that
nice.
that you pitched a song. I didn't
Yeah,
know that part of the story. I like
yeah.
that.
No, he's a crazy talented guy. That was a fun one. We met at a camp at Capitol Records. Actually, we did that song, and like a couple months, we loved it that day. And then a couple months later, he was like, "Guys, they want to put it on Songland." We're like, "Yeah." That sounds great, David.
Didn't it
Let's do
get?
it.
I want to say it got chosen, didn't it?
It did. It
Didn't?
won.
Yeah. For what? I can't remember what artist it was.
It's a Ben Platt song now.
Oh yeah, okay. Now I do
Yeah.
remember this. Yes, okay. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've probably never pictured that when it left, that building.
No, in fact, I thought I would have a David Davis song coming out.
Right.
And when we got that news, and then it was funny, he wasn't able to tell us when we want, we were waiting to hear. We heard it was Ben Platt. We're like, I wonder what's gonna happen. And he wasn't able to call us or whatever. He just sent us a #1 medal emoji in our group chat, like a gold medal emoji. And everyone was like, no way.
That's awesome.
So, yeah,
Very
David's
cool.
great.
And you released your EP in the midst of the pandemic, correct?
I did last year,
Yeah.
last summer.
How is tell me about that process. Was the record done and then COVID happens, or were you working on it over that time period?
I was working on it for a while. Some of the songs I wrote in 2020, some of the songs I wrote at the beginning of 2021. And I was just trying to figure out what that looked like, if I wanted to do an EP, if I wanted to keep doing singles, all that. But it felt like the right time. I had been wanting to do a project for a while, and it was just time to get it out there. I love the song so much, and I wanted to do it justice by putting it on a project and having it live forever, as opposed to just a string of singles like I had been doing for the last couple of years.
Was that not having the opportunity to really tour and promote it in a live setting, was that ever a question to not release it during that time period, or you just wanted to get it out there?
I wanted to get it out there. I write a lot of songs, so looking on to the next project, I knew I'd be able to tour it when the timing was right. It was a genuine concern. It's difficult to get your stuff out there without live shows. We're in a weird music industry right now, but it just felt like the right time, and the right songs, and things just come up, and they feel like the right place and the right time. It was time to put out an EP, and the time will come to play it live, and that will be very exciting.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. And on the the conversation we were having earlier about working 40 hours a week, and the drive that you have to do this project and be an artist, that kind of falls into the song that's coming out, right?
It does. Yeah, I think it's all intertwined. It's all the same message. Follow Through is coming out. It's one of my favorite songs I've ever done. And it's about feeling like life is just flying by, looking up from trying to figure out your life and get your stuff together, looking up and being like, wow, I haven't seen my friends in a while, haven't seen my family in a little bit, missed this party, missed this gathering, just because I was trying to get my own life together. And I feel like hopefully the song is a reminder for me to not get so caught up in how fast everything's moving, and just kind of enjoy it.
That must be hard to do, though. I mean, in an industry like the music industry, where it's so quick and it's almost like you don't want to get left behind, right? You always kind of have to be keeping up with whatever the next thing that's going on is.
Yes, it's a struggle. It's something that I'm trying to be better about, reminding myself that not everything needs to get done right in one specific moment, but I can take the night off, and I can go, see my family, or I could go see my friends, or whatever. That's something that I'm actively working to get better and better at, but it is definitely a struggle. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the music video. You directed it?
I did. I directed the music video, my directorial debut, and super excited about it. I shot it with the videographer is a friend of mine, Alex Bemis, who I've known since I was in 6th grade, one of my best friends. And
that's awesome to bring him through. That's cool.
Yeah, he's been doing everything with me for the last few years. He's the man, and we love collaborating on things together. And we wanted to choose an outrageous backdrop for the video. I love continuous shot videos, so I'm a sucker for that. So I typed up a whole treatment. kind of going along with the lyrics, how I want to have like a little picnic with an actress in the video, and I want to slow dance with her. The second verse mentions slow dancing, and so we kind of put it all together in this interesting concept. We said, where do we want to shoot it? Where do we want to shoot it? What if we did it in a hot air balloon? And so so we spent a couple weeks trying to figure that out. And we found maybe the only person who would allow me to go inside a hot air balloon in Temecula, California, Skyline Tours.
Yeah.
And
of course they let you do that in Temecula, right?
Of course. Our guy showed up and killed it for us. We shot it at 6 a.m, and we knocked it out, and he gave us a bottle of champagne at the end of it, because we're in Temecula, it's wine country, you know.
Of course.
So
yeah, but inside the actual balloon itself, not in the little basket.
We're not in the basket. We are inside a half inflated balloon. So when the video starts, it's kind of like, where are we? It looks just like a colorful backdrop, but it kind of reveals itself towards the end of the video. Yeah.
Wow, that's what a creative idea. I like that. Was it hard for them to kind of figure out how to get it to
inflate?
Inflate without burning you guys to death?
Yeah, it was pretty warm. I don't know the exact science behind it, but they were blowing some fans in there, and it was really loud, and he seemed pretty confident that it wasn't going to cave in on us or anything. So, you know, I trust him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but an interesting experience, you know? He was like, are you sure you don't want to go up? Are you sure you don't want to go up in the balloon? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I don't want to go up in the balloon. I think I'll stay on the ground. I'll stay on the ground for now.
I'm terrified. I'm so terrified of those things. Like I would never go in a hot air balloon. Like I would much rather jump out of an airplane and like skydive than just spend any time just sitting up there.
Yeah, it seems pretty terrifying. I mean, I don't know. When we pulled up to shoot, and it was in a field they were launching, I guess they do them every morning, whatever. They launched like 10, 15, 20 of these balloons in the field, and then ours just stayed on the ground. But we were watching all these people leave, and we're like, yeah, no, we're not going to be doing that. I want no part of that. Yeah. So
how big are the, I'm sure you got to see like how big the basket is. Like, is that a situation where you're sitting, or I don't know. Every time I see the thing, I'm just assuming that it's like about belly button high, and it'd be very easy to just kind of look over and fall out.
That's what I'm saying. And you're pretty close to like the heat too, you know, it's like really hot. Like I said, I don't understand the science behind it. Yeah. It is I think it's like a, you know, waist level, chest level basket. But they can't fit that many people. I mean, it's a small thing, man. I don't know. The balloons are massive though. The balloons are like a half a football field. Like they're huge, but the baskets are very small. So
very tiny.
I'll be staying on the ground for now.
Yes, yeah. I would be on the ground along there with you. Yeah. So is this going to be part of an EP again, or are you going to do singles? And I'm sure you've got a lot of music ready.
Yeah.
Just by the amount of work you do.
Yes, got a lot of music ready. My favorite songs I've ever made. Just kind of piecing together the final, you know, finishing touches on the next few singles. But I will be rolling the next few singles into a project. So super excited about that.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear the rest of the stuff and see the video. I haven't had a chance to check out the video yet, so I'm excited.
Definitely, you let me know what you think, man.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. I appreciate your time, Devin. This has been awesome. One more quick question for you. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
My advice to aspiring artists, writers, producers is to trust your creative gut. There's a lot of industry people who will tell you it needs to be one way. There's a lot of collaborators that tell you it needs to be another way. But I think you really know best, especially for your own art and your own music. You got to make sure you're in love with it, as opposed to appeasing the people around you. Make it your art.